The Bank of Japan is currently keeping its interest rate stable. Nevertheless, the outlook is hawkish for now. Gold and silver are pumping like never before. Silver is heading towards $100. An ounce of gold is now almost at $5,000. Does that look like a real recovery to you, or rather like a relaxation in the markets? Personally, not at all for me. As long as gold and silver continue to trade at such record highs and keep rising, that's simply a sign of risk off, and that more and more risk is being priced in. And now, there might even be an attack against Iran this weekend. Ready to go? Yes, and with that, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 89,500 US dollars. Yes, what can you say? Bitcoin is having a bit of a hard time at the moment. The traditional markets actually don't look that bad, even though they've only filled their gaps for now, and without much volume. But still, the risks simply remain. We'll definitely take a look at all of this. But before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested, just join in. It's all completely free. There you'll always get the latest info, for example, whenever I enter any trades or if something exciting happens, as I mentioned. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can treat everything we discuss here, whether it's cryptos, stocks, or Forex, you can do all of that with my partner, Exchange BingX. Feel free to use the link in the video description below. By doing so, you support me, or rather, the channel, and you can grab up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses. And right now, there's also a little New Year special, where once you reach a certain trading volume, you can snag some cool prizes. So, let's get into it. So, Bitcoin at $89,500. Nothing really spectacular. Yesterday was more of a sideways drift than anything else, but I already mentioned it in the intro. Gold rises toward 5,000 US dollars as a weaker dollar adds impetus to the rally. Yes, gold is near the $5,000 mark. And actually, we had seen and expected a minor pullback after Trump put the whole Greenland story to rest and got what he wanted. The problem is, investors still somehow don't see it that way. And I understand the investors too, because I think there are still bigger problems than the whole Greenland story. It's all well and good that nothing was resolved with, let's say, weapons, or with any other kind of equipment, and that it's already contractually, in quotation marks, settled, because it's not 100% finalized yet. The EU still has to give its approval as well. Next week, at a summit, once again, it will then be decided again whether the old tariffs, or rather the old framework agreement, will be reinstated, which they only just canceled again 2 days ago. But all this uncertainty as well, you can see it here. Investors are now awaiting Trump's pick for the next Fed chair after the US president said he has finished interviewing candidates. And there's someone from BlackRock on the list as well, who has even become the favorite now. And he wants someone who will cut interest rates by 1%. And what else happened last night? Right, no, wrong article. Bank of Japan holds rate with stronger inflation, view giving hawkish edge. Which basically means the Bank of Japan kept interest rates unchanged, which was also to be expected at this point. But at the same time, the outlook has become much more hawkish. In other words, more bearish. The Bank of Japan is taking all of this into account. Yes, you could say with style, considering everything that's happening in the background. And when it's 280 million, that's actually a real shock. You can remember what? 2 days ago, when 30-year bonds and all bond markets shot up completely, the Japan bond wipeout was triggered by just $280 million in trading. $280 million was enough to completely unsettle the bond markets. And interestingly, it's not just that China continues to dump government bonds to the absolute letter. No, where is it? Where is it? Exactly, here. Japan, the largest foreign holder of treasuries, saw a 2.6 billion increase to 1.2 trillion, the highest since July 2022. That means Japan is holding as many government bonds as it possibly can from the USA. And remember what happened just about 5 or 6 days ago. Japan's agreement with the US okays intervention for rapid moves. The Bank of Japan is hawkish. Japan wants to dump government bonds, which is what China's been doing for months now. Trump has a bit of a problem with government bonds being dumped, because that could also make the dollar a bit weaker again, and the US dollar, just to get ahead of things. Yes, weak a bit, you have to say at this point. But it's nothing really catastrophic yet. But the bond markets in Japan, they're already starting to rise slightly again, so it's not what you actually want to see. I don't know if we still happen to have the view for the 2-year bonds here. That would be something now. Then I can show you that as well. No, unfortunately not. But the 2-year government bonds in Japan are already going to the moon again and are at their highest level since 1995. The issue is not settled yet. And that's also what continues to keep the crypto markets completely under control, or rather keeps them down as long as these issues aren't off the table. At the same time, the weekend is just around the corner now, where in the end, yes, how should I put it? Trump or possibly an attack on Iran could take place, just as there's movement again right now in the Middle East. Once again, with aircraft carriers, tanker planes, and whatever else is involved, gold will probably continue its way up for now, and crypto will likely keep heading further down. Just take a look at the spot order book. The spot order book is dead. The last few days. That's close to the movement. You remember last weekend when I told you there was massive buying. If we do the math, it's probably the case. Michael Saylor was the one that bought. Otherwise, the order book has been completely dead the last few days. And as soon as we even get close to the 90,000 mark, here again with Bitcoin, almost 30 million is just sold off again. So the sales in the last few hours have been significantly higher than the buys again. The heat map gives us more of a wishy-washy picture, up and down, but we still have a big cluster at 86,000, and the same picture appears on the monthly heat map as well. For me, this just continues to mean complete uncertainty in the markets, no matter how you look at it. There's simply nothing really bullish at the moment where I could say, okay, the market is about to skyrocket. For me, in the short term, there's still at most a chance that we could move up toward 94,000, okay? Because there's still inefficiency up there, plus the red vector. But in the end, that would ultimately just lead to us dropping down a significant level anyway. It wouldn't change anything. Let's move up a time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame and take a look at the whole picture here. We can see that we've dropped below the 50 EMA on the daily with a red vector candle. Since then, we've been consolidating and volume has dropped off significantly again. That's not what we want to see. Let's be honest, right? The trend just keeps going further and further down. And if everything happening today with Japan picks up a bit more momentum, because the rate hikes have been announced, probably for April now. So you might remember, a month ago they said July. Now it's already April. The inflation concerns over there are still very high. That's what the chair of the Bank of Japan also said. Right now, there's also the political commentary. Today, it's going to be very volatile. Let's move on to the altcoins. So what's the situation there at the Molly? Well, Ethereum is dead. Yeah, I don't really need to say much more about that. Ethereum is pretty dead. Looks really ugly on the chart and just doesn't seem interested in moving up at all. It's the same story with Solana. With Solana, the idea was that we go up and then get the turnaround back down. At the moment, we're still just lower down. Liquidity has simply left the market here for now. It's concentrating. And to be honest, we have to admit, if we focus on the traditional markets now, gold, and silver. Gold has risen to just under $5,000. Silver is just under $100 an ounce. You really have to think about that. Almost $100. And it just keeps going and going. The uncertainty is there. And anyone who says, yeah, no, everything's fine, inflation is falling, isn't it nice and colorful? I have no idea what data you're reading or what chart you're looking at, but it just doesn't work that way. Someone has to call it out here, and I guess that's me, but that's just how it is. There's no other way. USD still at a very high level of intervention. This was also discussed at the Bank of Japan meeting, that an intervention is very likely to be necessary. Take a look at the chart. It's absolutely necessary. It has to happen, and that in turn will have an impact on the dollar. The euro, on the other hand, is a new safe haven. It is rising significantly again. That would have been a long opportunity yesterday. No idea why none of you reminded me. Just kidding. But for me, the euro's definitely much more bullish. Who knows how things will play out over the weekend? In any case, I'll be keeping an eye on the dollar today. If the dollar should recover, or rather continue to weaken, is that a sign for me? Carry trade unlined. And then by Monday, or even over the weekend, we'll already see significantly more action. Just be warned and stay alert. DAX short is still running. Brief recovery yesterday. We are right in the middle of the B wave. That works for me. Dow Jones almost a new all-time high. Just missed it. NASDAQ pumping up again. But just look at the volume. That says it all in the end. As long as the volume is this low, and on a daily basis as well, there is no volume in the market. For me, that's not sustainable. S&P 500, same story. Again, an increase here as well. Saw a retest. The only thing that's rising is the Russell. And Russell stands more for short-term pumps, you have to say, because people are moving into the regular stock markets, or rather into the big, magnificent seven. Yesterday, Intel gave a poor outlook. Wow, Alphabet is the only stock from the Magnificent Seven that's performing well. The rest, let's say, are below average. And still, the markets are trying to reach a new all-time high. That's not bullish. And even the Russell. If you think the Russell is now the indicator that the altcoin season is starting, congratulations. Well, then just go ahead and bink that. There are plenty of people now saying the Russell is rising and the altcoin season is beginning now. Again, by now we have over 120 million altcoins. We didn't have that back there. Liquidity is currently flowing into gold and silver. Do you really think now that gold and silver are being sold off to buy a Zcash, to buy a VChain, and all those other shit coins out there, whatever they're called? I doubt it. Really, I don't believe it. Think about it, or believe whatever you want. But for me, it's only a matter of time before all this shit implodes. Look at US bonds. They're rising and rising and rising. Japanese bonds, they're rising and rising and rising. It won't take much longer. While the yen keeps falling, intervention is necessary. But hey, what do I know? Bitcoin to the moon, everything to the moon. See you at the Golden Lambo purchase next week when everything is at an all-time high. That's it from my side for today. In any case, I still hope you were able to take away something useful. If there's anything important, as I said, feel free to join the Telegram group. Otherwise, we'll hear from each other again on Sunday for the live stream, or later on the Smart Crypto channel, for a gold or a commodities and precious metals update. And that's it for me. I wish you all a great start to the weekend. Take care of yourselves. Have a nice and successful rest of your day. Until then, ciao, ciao, and as always, stay crypto.